Hey Grace, put a bunch of stuff in place as placeholders or my proposal on the way certain things get put together. So I want to show you what I've done, and then you can provide feedback as necessary. And what's probably best is if you want to go ahead and set up a meeting after you've watched the video. Go ahead and set up a meeting with me, and we can talk through things. I think talking through these things is easier than writing emails out kind of thing. And you can always schedule a meeting with me at jpuma.com/meet, which I'll include a link to that in the email that I send this video to you in. All right, so the first thing is coming up with a color palette. Um, I opted for a sea and sand color palette, which kind of makes sense to me for pearls. And you already had, a blue and brown one in there. I just picked an existing color palette because some professional decided that these blues and browns go together well. So I picked this as the color palette, and we can change any of the colors that we want to. But here's where I started off. So what I did is I implemented that color palette in the theme, and you see there's the blue, the brown. Let's go to a product page. I actually don't use that brown for the add to cart button, but I use a red that matches that tone, right? And you can see the colors are used throughout. Not heavy in color in the content part of the page is like the text, I leave everything black. And I went with a little subdued black. It's a 404040 if you know your hex. So it's not like a 000 bright bold in your face. It's subdued, and it's actually the same level of saturation that the blue, the red, and the brown have. So it kind of, it doesn't stand out, which we don't want it to. It kind of blends in with the rest of the theme. My goal here with this subdued saturation, right? It's not bright and bold at you, except for when you hover over buy now, right? Is to allow the content, right, to come to the forefront. So our photography should be where the eye is focused on things, not on what cool colors we pick for the color theme. And then I also think that you need a logo. So I went and found some stock photography. I have a subscription to stock photography site, and I looked at all the different pearl ones they had. And so this was the one that I thought was the best of them all, and I can show them all to you actually. If we go into Notion, I actually have a link to the Shutterstock folder that I made for things that I was just looking at for your store. And you can see, here's all the different pearl ones that I was looking at, and I picked, I think it's this one right here, but then I updated it with our color palette, right? So this is just placeholder. We can put any kind of logo you want in here. And I tried pearls, pearls, pearls on a diagonal, and I also tried pearls, pearls, pearls as like a waterfall cascade type of thing. But whatever you want to put in place for a logo, we can. I would just recommend not having a photo, especially the photo that you had of the oyster. I was not a fan of that. You'll notice what I did on the home page is I found a new stock photo for here. We can put whatever we want here, right? But I purposely picked the cleanest looking pearl and shell because I want it to feel elegant, clean, and smooth. Where the logo oyster that was up on the old site, it's got its guts in there and all that kind of stuff, and it doesn't look as clean and elegant. It looks raw and authentic, but it doesn't look clean and elegant. So I was going for clean and elegant. And then what I did for fonts is we're using an Open Sans font here. It's actually called Open Sans. It's nice and clean, right? And then for headings, I'm using a serif font, and this one is actually called, I think it's called Vol something. Where is it? Volcorn, right? And I'm actually not using bold anymore because the bold was too much, right? So trying to subdue things a little bit. So this is called Volcorn. This is called Open Sans. So we've got the serif font just for the headings, and it's also the one that used in the logo, and then a sans serif font for buttons and elements and the text. And we can see on the home page here, right now, so I took the content off of your existing WordPress site of the products that you have. So, here's the two, or actually you have multiple pendants, and then there's two bracelets. So I pulled those off of the site just by copying and pasting and grabbing images and that kind of stuff. So Let me know what other products you're going to be adding to this catalog, or if this is it, that's totally fine, right? But right now it's a really simple navigation because it's just pendants and bracelets. And you had shown me a site that you like the navigation and the filtering and stuff. Not sure we really need filtering if we've only got this many products, but we could do that if we need to. Filters are easy to add in, but here I think people are going to be choosing by the design, and there's only a handful of them. But like I said, if we want to put in filtering, we can. So let's go back to our home page, right? What I like to do is mimic the navigation in the home page so that people on mobile phones can actually, without clicking on the hamburger, that expanding nav menu, they can get to the navigation elements also. So we take them to the same pendants and bracelets pages. And while we're talking about mobile, let's show you what this looks like on a phone. So here, and you'll notice what I also did is I rounded corners whenever I could, right? So the banner, I don't round the corners because it's full width. But on this element and like the reviews elements, I round corners everywhere. And same thing with buttons because pearls are round. So for me, this is kind of following the curve of the pearls. So there it is on mobile. We actually have a different. It's the same photo but cropped differently on the mobile phone, which is a really nice layout. So instead of it being a really short banner at the top, it's this here, and we can crop that to be whatever we want. We can actually even use a completely different photo if we want to. I just use that one photo for everything for now as a placeholder. Let's go back to our desktop view. And I took the text off your website, put a little color background to give some contrast to it. I actually like the way the contrast was working. Currently trending products. Other things that I could see in your store over time for navigational elements, even if you don't have more categories, are things like new to our collection or products that are on sale, that kind of stuff. But right now, with such a small assortment of products, we don't need that level of merchandising. But that's the kind of stuff that we can put in there. And then this one here I did put currently trending. So this is a mix of both bracelets and pendants. It just happens to be that the pendants are showing up here. There's no sales data to be driving the popularity right now, so it's just a random collection. And I also took your testimonials off the WordPress site and found a stock photo, right? I went to our stock photo site and pulled down a stock photo of headshots and put in some headshots to make things look a little more authentic. And then there's our footer. So in the top, right, I like the top nav to be shopping, right? So pendants, bracelets, and pop-ups. And pop-ups is your stores. So here I've got one saying, hey, here's where we're at on Saturday, here's where we're at on Sunday. We might do an introductory paragraph, to say that we're as a San Diego company, we go to San Diego local markets that you can too if you're in San Diego or visiting, yada yada yada. But right now, here's what I put in, and I put the little map thing in, which also shows the reviews for the park and the reviews for the gas lamp market, which is kind of nice. So those are our shopping links, and I consider the pop-up part of shopping. And then in the footer, I've got an About Us page that has no content yet. And this is, one of your tasks is going to be to create the content. And what I want to see here is a story about you and anybody else that's involved with the company. I assume right now it's just you, but this should be about the human beings at the company. What you're trying to do is create a human connection with the customer, right? So what you don't want to appear like is some big, conglomerate or some Chinese manufacturing firm, right? People want to buy from people, and that's why they're coming to a small store. That's why they're coming to a Shopify site versus being on Amazon. So use that to your advantage and embrace your small size and your human nature and put that kind of stuff in here. I could see here, if it's just you, a couple photos like, how you got started, in jewelry and designing jewelry, how you interact with customers and how you delight them with the experience and all that kind of stuff. But make it about you and your history, your credibility, your story. And the other one I can see is, about our products. And this is where you can talk about the pearls, the jewelry, the settings, the materials. Hey, we use, this level of silver or this kind of gold. where the stuff is certified with this whatever, whatever kind of stuff. So here you build credibility for all of your products, not a specific product, just your products overall. If they're manufactured in the United States, you say, hey, made in the USA. If they're, organic, not that you have food here, but if they're organic, then you say, hey, it's organic. Whatever the good value props are that people care about when making purchase decisions, that's what will be on this page. And then the policy pages, the shipping policy, we don't have anything yet. We're going to have to put one in there. Customers are going to want to know that information. It's super important on a shopping site. Same thing with refund policy. This is boilerplate content from Shopify. You can definitely edit that, and you should look it over and edit it. Same thing with the privacy policy in terms of service. This is boilerplate information from Shopify that I edited to make it look nice. But you should look at that also and make sure everything's covered. Honestly, if you're a small store just starting out, the privacy policy in terms of service that you get out of the box from Shopify, probably good enough. If you're a company making $1 million a year, you might want to have lawyers look at it, but for small companies, you're probably okay with what's here. And here's the terms of service. Once again, boilerplate, formatted it to make it look nice. Then there's another page for frequently asked questions. And in here, you should put, things that people are going to ask, or the things that people ask already. I thought there'd probably be at least 3 buckets, about the pearls, shipping, returns, and those kind of things. All you're doing on the shipping returns is, taking your shipping and returns policies and putting them in the forms of questions. And it's a nice way to fill out the content here. And the contact us page, there's a contact form, and then we also point them to the frequently asked questions. And once again here, you notice we're doing that nice round corner on everything. Everything here's got the round corners to make it look and feel like, hey, this is all about pearls, which are nice and round, right? Smooth. So that's the placeholders that I've got in place for branding, styles, colors, typography, content, pages, and stuff like that. And I actually didn't show you the shopping experience yet. So on this collection page, we've got showing the different color options. These are called color swatches. And if I click on one, it actually takes me to that color. There we go, and that color already selected, right? And so they can pick the color. And once again, these were stock photos that I pulled off of. With one of these two was the ones I used. One didn't work. I actually downloaded both. One didn't work and one did. So that's where those came from. And then they make the selection choices on the chain. They can also make selection choices on the length. None of those are changing prices right now, so let me know if there are any price changes depending on what options they're picking. I actually like the fact that it doesn't change price because it makes the customer easier decision making for them, because even if the 18-inch chain costs you 25 cents more or whatever amount more, they don't have to think about, well, do I want to spend more money? It's like, do I want the shorter one or the longer one, right? They don't have to think about price when they're thinking about features. That said, sometimes you want to change price if your black pearls are 10 times more expensive than your white pearls. But you can see here, right, I have no product content yet. So what I'm going to want to see is, and this is copy you're going to have to provide me with, is copy about this pendant, and then about every choice they're making. Here's what's, information about black pearl, a pink pearl, a white pearl. Here's what chains are like. Here's what a box one looks like. Here's what a line one looks like. Here's what a wave one looks like. And here's the different lengths. And I also think we should have a sizing guide that is like a graphic or something that shows the different chain sizes and how they fall on a person. So I'm going to need that kind of content specific to the pendant, and then all the product choices, and then I'll reuse the content from the About Our Products page that talks about what types of materials are used and all that good stuff. And that will flesh this page out really well. Right now it's a very skeleton. You're showing the product choices that are available, and as we do more product photos, we'll be able to. The nice thing with this is if they pick black wave 18-inch, if you have a photo for black wave 18-inch, we can show that photo here. As they make the choices, the photo will update based on the choices they're making. You just have to have the photo assets. So if you have those assets, we'll be able to include that into the experience. And then if they add a product to the cart, we have a nice little cart page here. And then the checkout experience is also got your branding in it, like that. So that's what I've got in place so far. Please let me know if you have any feedback. Set up some time. We can talk things through. And I'm going to be signing you a bunch of tasks inside of Notion for the things that we talked about. Okay, there we go. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.